Hi, my name is Celia Hamilton, and I'm the conference producer for the Views Admin 2013 conference and community manager for the Social Biz User Group. With me today, I have Scott Souder, program director for Notes, iNotes, and Connections Mail at IBM. Scott, I know you're in the middle of a bunch of speaking engagements in Europe, so I want to thank you for carving the time out to talk to me today.
Absolutely, Celia. Pleasure to be with you. I'm sitting here coming to you from sunny Belgium today, where it's, golly, I don't know, about 30 degrees Fahrenheit and snowing. So.
Well, it's the same if it's any consolation. It's only slightly better in Boston. We've had our third or fourth snowstorm of the winter, and spirits are down, so at least it's sunny.
Man, well, summer's around the corner, so
True.
we'll just keep open, I guess.
True. These are minor problems, really.
Exactly.
So last week was a pretty exciting week for Notes announcements with an official look at Notes 9 and Connections Content Manager. We saw you demo some of those new Notes 9 features in a webcast. What are your favorite Notes 9 features? Which one are you most looking forward to?
Well, I can't hardly even think about that question without getting sort of amped up about what we're doing with the Open Social Standard, the Open Social 2.0 specification, all the stuff around embedded experiences and the ability for me to do stuff with activity, or actually I call them business streams now, right within where I live inside of Notes. That's all good stuff, but a lot of people are talking about that stuff. It's getting a lot of hype right now, but there's a whole other area that I get sort of jazzed about around 9.0, and it kind of goes back to something that Alistair Rennie, our GM, mentioned all the way back to October when we were getting another audience of folks sort of excited about what was coming in 9.0. And one of the things that he said sort of sticks with me. He sort of summed up 9.0, besides all of the hype around the open social stuff, he sort of summed it up as don't underestimate the power of the simple. And really, I think he's on to something, because what we've done in Notes 9, and this, I'm so stinking proud of the development team in terms of where they have applied a lot of attention. Yeah, could we have done some of this along the path perhaps before 9.0? Yeah, we probably should have. But we have paid a lot of attention to some of the small stuff, some of the simple stuff. So things like, practically every other Windows-based application on the planet, whenever you do a command, I think I'm a Mac guy, a Command-Shift-V or a Control-Shift-V in a Windows environment, you do a paste action of plain text off of the clipboard into whatever you're trying to paste, something into. Well, things like that, and there are literally hundreds of things like that throughout 9.0, where we now do with the product what you think we should do based on your interactions with other Windows-based applications. So that's a perfect example. Control-Shift-V, paste plain text. Love it. We should have been doing it all along. Yeah. There's another example. Things like, and I use this one from time to time when I'm talking with people, but I'm big on changing passwords. You need to be, just from security standpoint. Well, changing the password in Notes, that'd be like navigating 26,000 levels of menu structure to actually get there, and then you have to get a note from home and permission from this, that. You don't have to do that anymore. If you're going to change your password, it's right off of the file menu, where perhaps it should have been years ago. But just the simple things, and the feedback that I'm continuing to get from people that I'm sharing those things. I've got my whole list that fall into that category. The feedback I'm getting from people is that they're like, wow, yeah, you're right. This is cool stuff. In fact, the reaction I get from people a lot of times whenever they first take a look at 9.0 is they kind of go, wow, that's Notes? So it's those things, paying attention to the simple, paying attention to some of the improvements that customers have been asking for quite some time. That's the area that I'm really jazzed about, besides all of the open social stuff. So long-winded way of saying, don't sweat the big stuff so much. Look forward to the small stuff, and don't underestimate how cool it is and how powerful that is.
Definitely. That's going to keep users happy, and users being happy means admins have more time on their hands to do admin tasks instead of shooting. That's great.
Exactly.
We're hearing a lot on social business from IBM and just the business world in general. So where does someone who's just starting out go for resources? What's a good starting point? Is it making policies, or is it something else?
Oh, it's simpler than that for me. Maybe I'm going to tie it back to a feature because this is another thing that I really love about the 9.0 product. When you ask me where it is someone who's just starting out with this stuff, my mind sort of goes to that place of, okay, gee, I'm new to a company, or I'm just out of university and I'm starting within a company that has Notes and Domino. They've put this Notes thing in front of me. I've never heard of it, seen it before because it's not a consumer product. I'm expected to be productive with it. What do I do? How do I do that? So in 9.0, the teams have spent a lot of time. This has actually come from several teams, mostly from our user experience team. You'll understand why when I give you the answer here. But our user experience team focuses a lot on anticipating what a person might want to do. In 9.0, we have not only focused on that, we have also focused on making 9.0 sort of line up with the other products that are in the IBM portfolio from a look and feel perspective. But one of the things that I'm really pumped about in terms of people that are just getting started in our stuff, the user experience team, the design team, basically put in something that we're calling the Discover page. And the Discover page is this phenomenal area where you open up the product. If you don't have a clue, it's where you go learn about what it does. It tells you what the new features are. It shows you video clips of how to use them. Heck, it even gives little hints and tips of things, even for old guys like me who come back time and time again. Little hints and tips along the path of things that I've forgotten or things that perhaps even I never knew about the product. The Discover page is perfect for that. So paid a lot of attention in 9.0 for helping people who are new to this stuff actually become productive. So we've rocked the release in that perspective, I think.
That's great. And I talked to Jacques Pavlani the other day and asked him what we can expect from future releases of Notes, like after Notes 9. He, of course, couldn't go into much detail, but he hinted at mobile and cloud improvements. And my question is, when IBM is planning a new release of Notes, how do you come up with new features? Is it based on user feedback or industry trends or something else?
Well, it's all of that and more. The thing that I keep sort of prodding us on is not just so much keeping up with the Joneses, with our competitors or whatever, but it's a I've got a list of things that I want to do and want us to put in the product line that are innovations as well. So when somebody says, hey, I've got these three things, or hey, Scott, your competitor does this, why don't you do that? All of that kind of list of stuff to me is almost table stakes kind of thing. Yeah, we want to do those things, we'll do those things, but the key thing, and I keep going back to Open Social, the key thing is, continuing to look for those things that make users' lives easier. Sometimes they're innovative ideas, sometimes they're not. But we certainly take a lot of input from folks. We have about 100 companies, Celia, that partner with us in what we refer to as our design partner program. That's basically companies that we say, okay, for the next development cycle, we're going to bring you in, sort of open the kimono, and we want you to be very candid, very honest with us and your feedback about our stuff. And we'll be very honest with you in return, and it makes this really nice partnership for how we get new things into the product. Sometimes we agree on things, sometimes we don't, but the cool thing is that 100 companies, or those representatives from those companies, they bring ideas, they bring awareness of trends that they're seeing in the marketplace, and so that plays an absolutely critical role into what we put in the product in subsequent releases. Jacques was right. He really can't give you a lot of insight on some things, but I can tell you this. I have been meeting with the development team members since last May on what our next major release is, and that would be whatever we call it, 10 or whatever we call it. We've been meeting sometimes weekly, sometimes more frequently than that, on what that next thing is. So we're already at the design board. We're already I was in a meeting a week and a half ago, and Russ Butler, VP of Development, was sort of the guest of honor in that context. And the development team we were basically showing some prototypes and showing some mock-ups of designs and things. And he sort of closed that meeting out by saying, "Okay, guys, time to start coding." So you take all of that, just fold it in, spin it around a little bit, and we end up with our next release. But it's a pretty exciting process to watch.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it. So among your very busy speaking schedule is presenting at the Admin 2013 conference. You're giving the keynote session as well.
Yeah, I'm
excited.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, I really am. That's going to be a fun event. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely. So the keynote session, and you're also giving What's New in Notes 9 Social Edition session. Can you give listeners an idea of what you'll show them in your keynote?
Yeah, sure. I want to help people understand, obviously, where we are with the overall portfolio. So the pieces that I have responsibilities for are, predominantly our messaging and collaboration technologies. We'll certainly talk about those. We'll reflect, really a little tiny bit on what we did wrapping up 2012. But really, what I want to focus us on is sort of looking for the balance of 2013 and then on into 2014. So we'll talk about the portfolio. We'll talk about my favorite topic these days, Notes and Domino 9.0,
right.
And we'll kind of give a little bit of hint and glimpse, perhaps, of some of the things that are just around the corner. And then I think the thing that a lot of people want to know is, well, okay, great, we got 9.0 in market now, or we're about to have it in market. What's the roadmap look like for the future? And so we'll spend some time kind of, opening the kimono on that as well. So a lot of those things, I think there's plenty of material in that and the other session that I'm doing that you referenced, where we'll actually sort of sit back and roll our sleeves up and do some demo of some stuff. So whether you're a developer or an admin, you'll find, I think, the content to be spot on. At least I hope so.
Right. Well, I would hope so. Yeah. Yeah. You have an inside track, so.
That's right.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited for the conference. We've had a lot of good chatter about it, getting lots of good feedback about the actual program, so hopefully it'll shape up to be pretty good.
Cool. Thanks.
So,
I'm sure it will, too.
Those are my questions. Thanks for taking time out. As I said, I know you have a busy schedule, so I appreciate the time you take to answer my questions. For our
pleasure.
For our listeners, Admin 2013 is April 17th through the 19th at the Hotel Marlowe in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Session topics focus on core notes administration, IBM collaboration solutions portfolio, and IT administration outside the notes world. You can download the conference brochure, read session descriptions, and register at viewadmin.com. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter at The View Journal for the latest on our technical articles, conference information, community resources, and general IT interest stories. Also, make sure you visit the Social Biz User Group at socialbizug.org if you haven't heard of it yet. It's the community formerly known as lotususergroup.org. We launched a brand new site in January of this year. The site is totally built on Connections, X-Pages, and Domino technologies and has resources for the IBM Collaboration Solutions market. Registration is completely free, and you can take advantage of forums, white papers, webcasts, newsletters, and local user group meetings. Every member can blog, so sign in or sign up and start posting your tips for other community members and start sharing content. Also, follow us on Twitter at Social Biz User Group. Thanks for listening.